Welcome back to Miles Edgeworth Investigations on the Advanced 64D. We're almost done. We have him cornered. This should be the final interrogation. Mr. Alba, I request that you testify once more. As if there is anything else for me to testify about. I still have yet to fully prove that it was Mr. Alba who murdered Mr. Cochin. Well, I would like to hear about your movements before the murder occurred. I wonder if you could tell us about what you did here at the Theatrum Neutralis? Very well. I suppose I could tell you about that. Because about all I did was watch the Steel Samurai stage show. Elaborating on even that alone is good enough for me. The only way for me to place this man under arrest is to pinpoint the exact location of where the murder took place, for that is the key to this investigation. I watched from the last row. The stage was well lit, but it was dark out in the audience. I swear I was there in the audience, but it's hard to prove that, I suppose. I do remember the contents of the show very well, though. Is that proof enough for you? These moving scenes were seared in this old man's heart. I'll never forget them. So you were in the theater proper, watching the Steel Samurai stage show, were you? Of course I was. I have a great fondness of the Steel Samurai. Yeah, that was pretty cool up there, wasn't I? You're not the one who was cool! It's the Steel Samurai who was cool. Yeah, Steel Samurai's super finishing move today was really something, huh? Huh? Hey, Edgy! Who is she? Who's this super cute girl? She's been standing here the whole time, you only now notice her? Her name is Kay Faraday, and she's helping me in my investigation. So I didn't get to introduce myself earlier. Better late than never. Yeah, it's okay, I'm Larry Blant! Silence in the peanut gallery! No time for the trivialities of a time like this! Prosecutor, this is the final battle, you got that? I know. This is the end. For that man there. Now that's the kind of thing I like to hear. I think I'll give trusting you a try, Mr. Prosecutor. Or rather, Mr. Edgeworth. I leave this critical battle up to you, Mr. Edgeworth. Have no fear. I will finish the job. This really is the end game. The time has come to expose every last one of Mr. Alba's lies. I watched from the last row. The stage was well lit, but it was dark out in the audience. The last row? I should think that an ambassador would have had special seating reserved. I wanted my staff to enjoy the Steel Samurai show as well. So I gave up all the good seats for them. It was enough for me to simply see him. Zara was the only hero. Let's not forget the Pink Princess here. My dear madam, if you continue to thrust about like that, your hip may begin to hurt again. Ooh, aren't you the considerate person when you want to be? But this young butterfly is on the side of Veggie Poo. You can't spare me the flirtatious come-ons. Wow, he's completely frozen. In frustration, perhaps. I dare say she can be one rather trying opponent. In any case, Mr. Alba, can you actually prove to us that you were watching the show? I swear I was there in the audience, but it's hard to prove that, I suppose. Are you admitting, then, that you have no way of proving to us that you were watching? Quiet! You buzz on my ear like a pesky little fly. If you don't wish to listen quietly until the end of what I have to say, then perhaps you should pack up and get out of my way. I suppose that you're willing to be a bit more receptive now. Well, it's true that I may be difficult to prove that I was out in the audience. I do remember the content of the show very well, though. Is that proof enough for you? Well, I remember the content of the show as well, myself. That's nice. That's nice! Miles Edgeworth, don't allow yourself to be riled up by him at this important juncture! I wasn't planning to let him. They asked me, I think I'm the biggest Steel Samurai expert around here. Didn't think the climactic scene of today's show was just totally awesome. Yes, I remember that well. And that spectacular special move. The way you deliver the final blow against the evil magistrate. Early summer rain jab. Oh, that scene will live on in my heart forever. Is that how it went? I totally forgot about it. How can you forget your own special moves? That's the special attack that Steel Samurai uses when he's using his samurai spear. Yes, and today was the first time he showed it off, was it not? If I hadn't watched the show, then how could I answer you with the name of the move? I suppose you are correct, but if you could, please elaborate on this point for me. One of the scenes was this never-before-seen early summer rain jab move. Early summer rain jab was a move that was to be unveiled today. And because I saw that brand new special move, I believe it confirms my alibi. How sad. The only way he's going to protect himself is that he watched the Steel Samurai. I guess this guy really has nothing else left. Yes, and to avoid arrest, you could bet he'll say or do anything. But with all of us here, there'll be no escape from him. Yeah, we'll find a way to bring him to justice. Now then, let's continue your testimony, Mr. Alba. Very well. The Steel Samurai special move and the various other scenes. Those moving scenes were seared into this old man's heart. I'll never forget them. I'm very sorry. You must have gone senile. Early summer rain jab move. That can't be the case. If you were really there! The special move today was the early summer rain jab. Is that your final answer? You little irritating gnat! Do you think you could trip me up by asking the same question over and over? That was not my intention. Your testimony is more than sufficient. However, I believe it would be wise for you to take a look at this. The samurai spear? What about it? This spear actually never made it on stage today. Excuse me? Unfortunately for you, tonight's Steel Samurai happened to be a goof of a young man with an abundance of useless hot-bloodedness. Huh? Having said that, said useless man spent the spear during his rehearsal this evening. Kay, do you remember what the Steel Samurai special move was tonight? It was the Steel Samurai Sushi Slash! Correct! Because he couldn't use the spear, a last-minute change was made. Had you really been watching the show, you would have known the move that was used! Curtius Alba! You didn't watch even a single minute of the Steel Samurai stage show tonight, did you? So if he wasn't watching the show tonight, then it opens up a possibility that he was busy killing Mr. Cochin instead. So where were you during the show? I demand an answer now. Just what is so funny? You're so sloppy. And so are your conclusions. I still insist that I watched the show. Most of it, in any case. What do you mean by most of it? As you see, during the show, I left my seat for a spell to visit the bathroom. I assumed that was when the dramatic scene that played out was on stage. This is the lousiest, lamest excuse I've ever heard in my life, pal. Just because he got the name of the move wrong. You can't really use that as proof that he didn't watch the show at all. As a fan of the Steel Samurai, I just wanted to watch the entire show. Honest. As a Steel Samurai fan? For someone who wasn't even in his seat for the climax of the show, you have no right to call yourself a Steel Samurai fan ever. Who was it this time? Huh? Who was that just now? Yeah, young lady! Larry, what are you doing interrupting me like that? Edgy! Just hold on for a second, I beg! You may never accept this old man as a Steel Samurai fan, But I totally think he's a Steel Samurai maniac. A Steel Samaniac. What exactly is a Steel Samaniac, bro? I believe he meant to say Steel Samurai Maniac. Yeah! And trust me, I know a real fan when I see one, because of the Steel Samurai. Objection! I will never acknowledge you as the true Steel Samurai. You're getting so worked up over Mr. Edgeworth. It appears that the real Steel Samurai recognizes me as a fan. As well he should, for I am a fan. And not just though I missed the entire show. It was the most amazing show, filled with the spirit of the young and the young at heart. Huh. Sarcasm dripping from his long wooden nose couldn't run any thicker. Getting the name of the move wrong only proves that he didn't watch the last scene. What I really need here is something more definitive. Something that links Mr. Alba directly to the murder of Mr. Manny Cochin. You know what, Grimes? You're really something else. I'm honored to receive such praise from the Steel Samurai, but what is it for? Well, I was just wondering how you found out about the early summer rain jab. That move is a bit of a secret that only a small portion of staff know about. Wait, it was a secret? Larry, wait, what did you just say? Huh? Did I just say something stupid again? Did you say that the early summer rain jab is actually a secret? Maybe I shouldn't have said secret. It's more like we only decided on the name of the move right before the start of the show. Right before? Yeah, stage director was going nuts because we were supposed to debut the move. About 5 minutes before the show, we threw it up on the dressing room's whiteboard. Early summer rain jab. It's kind of how we decided the name of the move. But by that time, we already bit the spear, so I guess the whole thing was kind of pointless. All of you Steel Samurai actors are the same. The director has my complete sympathy. So basically, because we changed the move to the move Zuzu Slash, we couldn't pretend that the early summer rain jab didn't exist at all. I mean, it'd be bad if someone found out we changed the move, so we made it a secret. So basically, a gag order was issued for publicity's sake. Almost makes the early summer rain jab sound like a lost art. Yeah, which is why I thought most of the staff haven't even heard of the move. Oh, the lips of your still! What the heck, old man? I've done nothing but listen. From what I can tell, it's all very unrelated to this case. It's very tedious and a pointless exercise in wasting time, much like a kid's show. Mr. Alba, I believe the one who should be quiet now is you. How dare you? I suspect that you've already noticed exactly what the very severe implications of this man's testimony. So now you're trying to bully me, huh? There are no implications to be read into the behind-the-scenes story of a kid's show. Don't even think about trying to slither your way out of this, Curtius Alba. You were the one who said it yourself, that the name of the move was Early Summer Rain Jab. But that name was only decided upon right before the show was about to start. So? What are you driving at? The name of the move you told us never used in the show was said aloud. Now then, would you care to tell us about how you found the name of the move? Because I can only think of one way you could have known. Curtius Alba, this is the only way you could have known the name of the move. You saw it. You knew the name because you saw it! You saw it on the dressing room's whiteboard! The staff members who knew were keeping it a secret. So you couldn't have simply gone up to the staff member and asked. Which means that the only other option left if you saw it on the whiteboard. That means that Mr. Alba was in the waiting room at some point, right? But that's a big deal, sir. I don't see what that means. This is another piece of evidence that was a great deal to do with the dressing room. We can't afford to let this slide. This is related to both the dressing room and to Mr. Cochin's murder. That would be... Goodness, there's a lot of evidence. This was originally from the dressing room. The push cart that was used to move the body was right there in the dressing room. During the show, the push cart awaited its turn to be pushed on stage in this dressing room. It was finally pushed there along with the Iron Infant in the last scene of the show. And then right after the show ended, it went into Ablaze along with the Steel Samurai. Which means that the only time the killer could have placed the body inside the pushcart was when the pushcart was in the dressing room backstage. Basically, the killer has to be someone who visited the dressing room during the show. Precisely. Ugh! Wait a minute! But what if? This is just a what if. What if the murder didn't take place in the dressing room? What do you mean, Kay? I have to admit, she brings up a valid possibility. During the show, the dressing room was supposed to be devoid of people. Anything going in the private dressing room would stand out like a sore thumb. But despite that, the killer still managed to move the body with the pushcart. Correct, and it is because of the setup of the theater's dressing room that it would be an ideal location for the murder of Manny Cochin. Precious Alba, during the show, you went down to the dressing room, and I want to know why. Yes, I was there. I went into the dressing room. I knew it! A new place you want to arrest right now, pal. You got that? Arrest! Objection! Not so fast. What is it now? Don't I deserve a chance to explain myself? Explain? What's there to explain? I believe I told you earlier that I went to the bathroom. Well, I got lost when I did. I wanted to ask for directions, but when I opened the dressing room door, no one was inside. And that's when I saw the name of the move on the whiteboard. You punk! You're trying to get away out of this? Do you really think you can get away with this point? Edgeworth, is there anything you do to stop him? I don't have enough evidence on hand to do anything. I don't have that airtight evidence I need to put this man away for good. But if that's what I need, then perhaps... Agent Lang, I believe an investigation of the dressing rooms in question is in order. It's possible we may find new evidence there. Yeah, so as we pokes around in there, I'm sure he'll find some new facts, pal. Who interviews the little thief might learn something from a recreation. We don't need to do any of that. What? Wolfie, how could you? I'm not saying this to be mean. It's just that we've already searched there. My men are really something else. And they found nothing? There's only one thing I can say to you, sis, and it's that they found nothing. That's it. I guess you're right. If they found something, they would have reported it to us. They couldn't find anything because there was nothing to find. And there's no info to defeat the little thief, and I can't do much to help either. Is this the end? The murder took place in this theater, which is not protected under extraterritorial rights. And the fact that it was Mr. Alba himself who committed the murder. If I can't prove both statements to be true, Mr. Alba walks away a free man. Is there no other course of action left to us? It would appear that your hand of cards has turned out to be a bust. Now you excuse me. Both because of you people, I missed my flight. I must make haste to arrange for a new one. Who was it this time? Was it this time? Hold on there, you whippersnappers! First Larry, now you? What's with the scary mouse-looking scowl on your face? Don't you feel like I'm some sort of nuisance? What you mean to say is, well, you keep talking about things I don't get at all. Well, even this lady's sad, depressed, and about to crying. Why did you have to speak up right at this instant? But you know what, Edgeworth? Cheer up. So I'm about to give you the most wonderful thing. The most wonderful thing. From you. Super special, I couldn't give it away to just anyone, you know. A special present of love with the sweet Edgeworth. You ready? What's this? It's... It's the box of those samurai dogs, right? Yes! You won your fall rise rain! Are we through here? Why did everyone go so quiet all of a sudden? Edgy! Tell me you understand the depths of the lady's love for you! I want to hand out snacks willy-nilly, you know. No, sir. Thought it occurred to me that maybe it would be good if I fed you one and made sure you were nice and full on one day. So my dreams are, homemade food to me. Isn't that the desire of everyone to make sure that their beloved never goes hungry about the experience? Let me tell you what, a long time ago, you listen, the kids, that's Edgeworth. Can't you do anything about her? There is no power on earth that can force that woman into silence. I'm sick and tired of it. All you people do is look down on me. Here's the box of samurai dogs played before a fool. And a special design on the for family with like the Japanese flags I thought was special. When I eat one, it tastes like all the rest. It made me so mad. Wait, a special box of Hinomaru-like fan on it? I've never heard of such a piece of merchandise existing before. However, there it is. The red rising sun in this fan is filled in. Is it possible? Could this be? If so, the samurai dogs are piled up at the dressing room floor. However, there's no such thing as a rising sun dog. This contradiction of facts between something that should not exist and yet does. The rays of this rising sun may just be what we needed to point us in the right direction. At present, Studio Bigwigs basically told us to play delivery boys. We were supposed to hand the dogs off in the embassy people and tell them hi. I had to pile them all up in the pushcart just to move them all. I believe you understand what this means, correct? You killed Mr. Cochin at this theater and then placed his body into the pushcart. And then, you forced the Steel Samurai to unwittingly move the body for you! It's time to piece the final pieces of this logic puzzle together. No matter how fragile or small the connections may be, once we find them all, the way to the truth will be revealed! There are samurai dogs in the pushcart, but the body was in the pushcart too. I think there has to be a link to these two. The killer used the pushcart to transport the body, which means that they had to remove the samurai dogs from within first. Therefore, the samurai dogs that were then piled up in the dressing room floor were most likely taken out of the pushcart by the killer. But then if they were removed in the dressing room, that which should not exist, this box of samurai dogs with the Hinomaru on it. If this red rising sun was filled in when the killer was busy removing dogs in the pushcart, then it's proof that the murder took place in the dressing room. As long as the red substance turns out to be what I believe it to be. When the old bag. I thank you. What you have given to me is truly something very special. Gee! Mr. Edgeworth, are you sure you're feeling okay? Mr. Alba, as I suspected, you killed Mr. Cochin in the dressing room. How many times must I listen to you repeat yourself? Have you figured it out yet? Your words are meaningless, worthless, and powerless. The only way I'm going to continue to cooperate is with some definitive evidence. That arrogance, that self-confidence. You believe that you erased every piece of evidence that could incriminate you. However, this remains one piece, and it is what will put you away for good. You're bluffing. Oh, Mr. Prosecutor. Sounds like you finally found them. You finally found the fangs you need. We need to go after this guy's jugular. Oh. Tell me, what about the box of samurai dogs is going to put the old man away? The trace evidence that will bring him down? It's here, of course. This box of samurai dogs with the rising sun fan on it. This should never have existed. I want you all to take a good look at the red spot. It's a single drop of blood. Huh? What? Blood, you say? Agent Lang, I'd like this blood analyzed post-haste. I gotta admit, I'm a bit surprised. Can't believe we found blood in a place like this. Hey you, get this down to lab pronto. Why was there blood on the box to begin with? If we think about the flow of the crime, I think the reason will become obvious. Larry, you said that you transported the samurai dogs in the pushcart, correct? Yeah, you have a great memory, Edgy. Pushcart was a bit too big for my son, you know what I mean? So to make sure everyone could see him, I had to pile some stuff in. I figured the samurai dogs are there, so I used them to fill up the cart. But if what Larry says is true, then what were the boxes doing on the floor? I see. The killer took him out in order to place the body in the pushcart. Exactly. And that is when I believe the victim's blood found its way onto the box. But when my men investigated the room, not a single box of samurai dogs was in there. Because embassy staff members had already confiscated them. Yes, no doubt to hide the evidence of the murder. It's a good thing Miss Oldbag managed to steal the one bag before they got to them, huh? Looks like Miss Oldbag had managed to put this great thief to shame. What's Candle's way of putting that? I didn't steal, I received it from myself. Curtius Alba, I'd say this was one very fatal oversight on your part. Sorry to rain on your little love fest. However, how can he be so self-confident in a no-win situation for him like this? Even if that blood turns out to belong to Mr. Cochin, then what? So, Mr. Edgeworth, sounds like he's not ready to call it quits yet, huh? The sole piece of evidence was left at the scene of the crime. That alone has shed light to a new fact. At the very least, we now have proof that the murder occurred in the dressing room. And? You say that like it means something. Huh? Excuse me, sirs. Report! What are the results of the analysis? Sir, the analysis came back and confirmed that the red substance is blood. I knew it! This Curtius Alba. Mr. Edgeworth, I wonder if you might humor my question. Your question? The one from before, or have you forgotten? Even if that is Mr. Cochin's blood, what difference would it make? Like we already told you, it proves that the crime scene was the dressing room. But it doesn't prove that I am your killer, does it? That's... Here's a very good point. The blood in that box doesn't prove that Mr. Alba is the killer. Then, this evidence is meaningless. That can't be. We were so close, sir. I'm gonna smack that smug look off his face. Come on, there's gotta be something we can do. We finally found a solid piece of evidence. There must be something I can expose with it. I can't think of anything. No, if you'll excuse me, Who was that? It is too late. I won't allow anyone to stop me now. It wasn't me, pal. It wasn't me this time either. It wasn't me. It was me! Why did you... Because I haven't finished reporting everything to you yet, sir. There's more? What? Hurry up and spit it out. Yes, sir! As blood I mentioned. It's not of the same blood of the type as the victim's blood. What? No! What? What do you mean it's not the same type? You mean it's not the victim's blood? If that isn't his, then who the heck is it? I don't know, sir. All I know is it's not the same blood type as the victim, sir. What should we do now, Mr. Edgeworth? I have no idea what's what anymore. Neither do I. My, what an amusing turn of events. That blood drop proved something to be true, alright. Namely, my words. And which one of your words would that be? The ones where I said that your words are meaningless, worthless, and powerless. That blood has nothing to do with the murder investigation whatsoever. Need I remind you that the blood got onto the box long before it entered my embassy? What sort of nonsense? Yeah, that's blood, pal. There's no way it's not related to the murder. They would like to believe. But what if someone preparing the samurai dogs had a small nosebleed? What then? I guess it's possible. Damn. We've been wasting our time with a red herring? The blood doesn't belong to anyone connected to the case. That should be clue enough. Curses, Alba! You... Silence! Don't you ever address me with such filthy words again. I wasted enough time here with you, and you have your answers. Now let me through. Alba, doesn't matter where you run off to, you'll never escape me. Someday I'll have the satisfaction of sinking my fangs into you, you'll see. After all of Interpol will be behind me, working to see till that day comes. Do you know what your words sound like to me? They sound like the whinings of a pathetic loser of a mutt. Is this really the extent of all we can do? Is the blood really from someone completely unrelated to the case? Or is there another possibility? Someone else other than the victim? Just when I thought I had him backed into a corner, is it I who has been backed into one? In a situation like this, what would that man do? What would he who can turn any desperate situation around do? Turn it around. That's it. I must turn my way of thinking around. It's not whose blood is this. It's whose blood could get onto the box like this. And if I think about it that way, if the blood got onto the box when the body was being placed in the pushcart, then the owner of said blood must have been in the dressing room at the time. And there's only one person that could be. Well, I was praised you for trying so hard. It's because of you kids that I was removed from center stage. And I'll be forced to live out the rest of my life in the shadows, unfortunately. But it's not a total loss, as the underworld will allow me more freedom than you'll ever know. Freedom like what the raven feels like when it flies through the dark night sky. You can't lay a finger on me, not now, not ever. The arm of the law is powerless before me. Objection! Powerless, is it? I wouldn't be so sure of that if I were you. What do you mean? Allow me to describe you in one word. Pitiful. Pitiful? How so? Curses, Alba! Your wings were clipped long ago. And for someone who was trying to fly away on them without noticing that fact, pitiful is the perfect word to describe you. Ha! Mere words. What do you mean by his wings are clipped, Mr. Edgeworth? Just what you think it means, Kay. We'd already caught him in our trap a while back. With an incredibly powerful, definitive piece of evidence. Hey! Mr. Prosecutor! Gotta speak in English! What are you trying to talk about? What piece of evidence? The piece I speak of is, of course, this drop of blood. But we know it's not from the victim! I don't see how it remains relevant to this case at all! Ms. Von Karma, I believe that is exactly why it's very important to this case. And the part that is the most important is the fact that it's not the victim's blood. You're looking a little pale. Good, then I believe you're already aware of what I mean. Then you know who the blood belongs to? Of course I do. This piece of evidence is the irrefutable proof that will stop the killer in his tracks. The blood that soiled this box of samurai dogs belongs to this person. None other than Curtius Alba! The blood of the rising sun in this box belongs to you, Curtius Alba! What? What? Why is his blood on the box of samurai dogs? He's not even a victim! The blood fell onto the box when Mr. Coachen's body was being loaded on the pushcart. At that time, the only two people in the dressing room were the victim and his killer. That's what you mean. If the blood doesn't belong to the victim, then there's only one other person it could belong to! Yes, and that person is the murderer himself. That's the only logical conclusion. Mr. Coachin was the one who was stabbed, sir. Why would Mr. Alba have been the one who was bleeding? What if during the murder, Mr. Coachin had fought back? You mean, if before Mr. Alba could kill him, Mr. Coachin managed to wound Mr. Alba? Yes, and I believe that we have a piece of evidence that proves that he was bleeding then. That one piece of evidence, which he showed himself. His wound! Mr. Alba, you bear in your body a great wound. That was from when Damask II attacked me in a pair of scissors. Yeah, that happened way after he was in the dressing room. Ah, but is that what really happened? You can manufacture a weapon by smearing blood on it, so I can't just accept that as a fact. Shall we try a test, Mr. Alba, to see if the shape of your wound matches the scissors? You really are something else, Mr. Edgeworth. You don't let a single thing slip by you, no matter how insignificant the possibility. You want to talk, Mr. Alba. You've managed to give the law the slip for 10 years as a smuggling ring's leader. No matter the danger, you can hide every last ounce of fear and anxiety from everyone. You truly are one of a kind criminal. I'm the master of my fear. How about to think that a person such as you could miss such a large thing? You believe I've overlooked something? I've said that my wound was caused by Mr. Cochin. And it was caused here in one of the theater's dressing rooms, right? Yes, that's correct. I'd like to point out that it's simply not possible. My wound is a stab wound, and one that can only came from a blade. I wonder where you will propose that such a weapon came from. The theater's packed with security guards. It would have been impossible for anyone to come into this area with a weapon of any sort. Just as Mr. Alba was able to bring the alabaster knife in a bouquet, there must have been some other way to sneak in the weapon of some sort. Ah, but as long as you can't prove what that other way is, all your talk about Mr. Cochin stabbing me is pure nonsense. So if that other way does exist, you better hurry and tell me now. With pleasure. What? This piece of evidence shows us how Mr. Cochin brought the weapon into the theater. The Yatakarasu's key. Among law enforcement, this piece is known as Yatakarasu's key. That key! That's the key that my father stole from here 7 years ago. And it is very unique in that it is both a key and a knife. Meaning that under the guise of a key, it could have easily been brought into this theater. Ugh! You couldn't dispose of the knife that stabbed you. Therefore, you wiped off the blood and placed it back in Mr. Cochin's pocket. After all, the key itself opens the safe in his office. And inside that safe were a document about Gaddafi in paper, signed by Mr. Cochin. In order to make it look like Mr. Cochin died as the leader of the smuggling ring, you had to make it so that the police were the ones who opened that safe, that office safe. All that hard work to save ourselves only served to destroy you in the end. Shall we try matching this knife's blade with your wound, Mr. Cautious Alba? And that is what some may call a coup de grace. Impossible. You can't take me down. Swine, all of you. Especially Manny Cochin. This is all because of that man's betrayal. He sought to steal control of the smuggling ring from me by removing me as ambassador. Which is why he deserved to die for bearing the guilt of all of my crimes for me. Why I sent him to Yatarasu's key and how this incident was born. Manny is supposed to be the smuggling ring's leader who was killed by the Yatakarasu. But I had yet another reason. Yet another story that was supposed to play out. Manny's death was supposed to bring everything to a close. And I would have gotten away with the two of us, you meddling prosecutors. Mr. Alba, I'm afraid there was one more question I forgot to ask. This country's or Alabast's, which country's court would you like to face first? Either way, it's game over for you. Edgeworth! We got him. Finally. Whew, this is it, the big day. Mr. Alba's trial today. And next week, he's scheduled to stand trial in his own country of Alabast. Francisca's heading that one. I suspect she'll be serving a full course of whiplashes at it. Having to face Miss Von Karma in court right after facing you, sir? Oh, I don't even want to think of what that would be like. I got a glimpse of Mr. Alba as he was being escorted to the courthouse. Boy, he looked like as glum as I do the day before I get my monthly paycheck. You know, I've been thinking, what that flight attendant, even Mr. Portsman, were all Mr. Alba's secret agents. Correct. That smuggling ring was the common thread between all of the incidents. Cammy Meal was to provide support during smuggling offs, using her job as an attendant. And Mr. Portsman was to manipulate trials related to their ring to end in their favor. Ugh. I fly airlines and even the prosecutor's office. No one was safe from the smuggling ring, huh, sir? I suspect there are even more members of this ring spread throughout the world. Yeah. Sounds like such a big op that I can't even begin to imagine what it's like. What is it, detective? Nothing. It's just, well, come to think of it. Mr. Ernest Amano's trial also scheduled for later today, sir. I'm aware of that. Mr. Amano had been working with the smuggling ring now for over 10 years. He used the Amano Group's various connections worldwide to assist the ring. But all that has come to an end with his conglomerate is now undergoing harsh scrutiny. I owe Mr. Amano a debt of gratitude, but he must pay his debt to society. Oh, the arrest of both Mr. Alba and Mr. Amano. I guess that about wraps up the KG-8 incident as well, huh? I suppose so. The real killer in the KG-8 incident 10 years ago was Manny Cochin. And 7 years ago, the killer in the second KG-8 incident was Mac Rell. Those two facts are the unshakable truth. However, it seems that a lot of effort was put into hiding these and other truths from us. And I will expose it all in the trials today. There's all in cases left and right today, aren't you, sir? CCU and Dade Man. Perhaps now, those two brave souls who tried to make the truth known can rest in peace. By the way, I received some gifts from Ambassador Paleno. Shrimp, crab, beef? I don't need any of these, so I'm giving them to you. What? Seriously, sir? Well, wait, actually, I don't think I want them anymore. The way you're holding them, don't tell me that they're just coupons, sir. Detective Gumshoe, have you not read the paper recently? Ever since the two countries became Gaddafi again, its economy has changed. Really? And it seems that Ambassador Paleno has reaped a few benefits from his own from it. He's been announced as the official ambassador of the newly reunified Gaddafi. What a pity. Either every item you send is a treasure, you don't seem all that interested. Well, if you don't want him, I can give him to a luckily assistant K. Wait, that's not what I said. Miss Edgeworth, please let me have him, sir. Actually, come to think of it, where is Kay? How come she's still not here? Oh. Gotta be more alert than that. Ah! Can't believe you didn't notice. I was even mimicking Mr. Edgeworth's voice for a bit. I totally didn't notice you. I realized the voice was you. Longzee says, ferocious love blooms with each new spring. Agent Lang, a pleasant surprise to see you here. It's been a long time since I set foot in this courthouse, but I wasn't going to miss watching the guy who screwed up my country finally get what's coming to him. Well, that and something else. I want to see you in action in court. Is that so, Agent Lang? We flush out all the counterfeit bills so Zheng Fa is finally at peace again. And it's all thanks to you, so I just want to say thanks. Wow! Never thought I'd see the day old Wolfie says thanks, Mr. Edgeworth. I should be the one thanking you, Agent Lang. If you hadn't negated Mr. Alba's extraterritorial rights, I would not have been able to bring him to the trial. I believe the victory belongs to the both of us in this case. Shared victory, huh? Look, don't get me wrong. I'll still never forgive you prosecutors. And I have zero interest in this truth thing that you talk about in court. I've always done things my own way. That's not about to change, you got that? I see. Well, I believe you should follow your own creed when you do your job. Yeah. And if there's ever someone your precious truth can't catch, feel free to sit around and cry about it all you want. As for me, I'm gonna get that person no matter what. Alright. It's about time for the trial to start. I'll see you later. I'll be watching your performance in the gallery. Looking forward to this. I brought a whole ton of ticker tape for today's victory, pal. I'll throw some around when Mr. Edgeworth wins. Hope you got enough, because I'm gonna call my men up as well. A modest amount of ticker tape goes a long way. The scene shifts to the courtroom, and the final act of this long tale begins. The legend of the great thief Yatagarasu. It's the story of those who chose to dedicate their life to the pursuit of truth. Prosecutors are those who seek the guilty verdict for the defendants they meet, and to that end, you have no choice but to win by any means necessary. That creed was forced on me when I was very young. However, I no longer think that we all prosecutors are, and that is because... Even though I've only been away from the courtroom for a short time, I feel as though it's been a lifetime since I set foot in one. Today more than any other day, I feel the fight within me rising. Really, Mr. Edgeworth's dead the other day. Thanks to him, I'm still free to serve the friendly blue skies. So, how about my suitcases? I've been selling them on the internet, and they've become a real sensation. Thanks to the praise the art world has lavished in my work as being truly postmodern. The airline has chosen me to design the new line of iFly jumbo jets. Just think, someday you'll be able to take a ride in my pink-walled, yellow-seated jet. Oh goodness. Investigations is one of my more favorite games. It was a blast going through it. Just all the different... Oh jeez. All the different characters are just amazing, even for Ace Attorney. Edgeworth! The rudeness of a rude man. Because of him, my time and money is wasted. But more importantly, I received the most fantastic treasure recently. The primitive statue of the Principality of Godovia. It weighs a bit light in my hands, but the Ambassador Paleno was most generous. Oh my gosh, they gave him the fake one. That's fine. Yeah, it's been a blast going through this again. We finally caught Agent Hicks's killer, and I was able to witness Mr. Alba's teary eyes. It feels good to finally bring everything to a close. I received another offer from Interpol to work another case in cooperation with them. However, the Gaddafian courts await. Gaddafi's air is supposed to be very fresh, so my whip will find new vigor there. This little patrolman has been fired as of today, sir! I thought it was safe since I found the gun that I dropped. But I had noticed that I dropped my police badge too! I guess what really broke the camel's back was when I couldn't find my badge. My little life has suddenly tripped into a dark black hole, sir! I think I'll go to the courthouse and file a complaint with Ruffles Man. That's Ruffles Man? There's superhero / prosecutor. Ruffles Man. This game is actually really good, and it was technically the end of an era. Because after this comes, I was actually hoping to talk with Mr. Edgeworth a bit more than I did. But I've got to get going and return to Europe. I've still got a long way to go and a lot of stuff to study there. Next time I help Mr. Edgeworth on the case, I'm going to do it for a real forensic scientist. Sure, he's going to need all the help he can give him, scientifically. This is technically the end of an era, because after this begins the Apollo Justice series. Well, Apollo Justice game. they've been going forward ever since. Because the kidnapping was staged, I was let off easy. But I won't be going outside that much time soon, but that's really okay. The only prison I'm forever trapped in is the cage of love. The guard down at the detention center, well, he's on a guard duty. He has such a cold look in his eyes, just like the prosecutor. Oh, stop it, Lord! Well, you ever learn to stop being a prisoner? Love. A lot of these people need help. In many ways. It appears there are all sorts of drama that takes place outside the courtroom. Since we judges are here day in, day out, I've only heard of rumors. But apparently, Mr. Edgeworth teamed up with a thief and became a detective. Maybe I should get to team up with a bailiff and try to become a lawyer or something. Oh, Judge, you're fine just the way you are. Barely escaped death yet again! Yeah, boy were we lucky with Edgeworth helping us out, huh? Yeah, but because I lost the key I got fired from my security guard job. Don't let it get to you down, Maggie. You still got me. You're right, sir! I'll be sad, I'm gonna pick myself up and get through this! I wonder what my next job should be. Ooh, this is actually kind of fun! Honestly, this game had a lot of, like, fan service and, like, just so many self-references. Oh. A lot of them. Why not come to Gaddafi for the summer vacation? We have coupons aplenty! Right now, our embassy is proud to present our Let's Investigate a Murder show! Although we're creating that particular case has created a few small fires of its own, then we had a few problems with the fire marshals, but the next event will be great! It'll be an attraction entitled Capture the Yatagarasu! Of course, I hope to enlist Case help in creating our latest attraction. Hey, at least Yatagarasu is getting business. I guess. At least they're not actually committing crimes. That's what I want. I can't believe that Mindy ditched me and went to Japan. That's okay. That's how I met Miharu. I plan to go to Paris soon and start a business. We're going to sell blue ocean dogs. They'll sell like hotcake hot dogs for sure. A blue hot dog and a blue bun. And guaranteed it'll turn your tongue and your face blue. I know I'm not really the type to work a lot, or at all really. But, so I noticed I really haven't seen that guy in the blue suit at all recently. I wonder what's up. The next time we meet, I'm gonna make him eat one of my dogs. Yeah, wonder where Phoenix Wright went. Must have been busy. If even Larry hadn't seen him. Today I gave testimony in court today. As a member of the Yatagarasu. Yo, Mr. Bad. Look well, all things considered. By the way, have you noticed that elements within the ring had begun moving? They're probably fighting over who should succeed. Over who should be the next boss. Although, to be honest, I wish I could forget all I've ever heard of that smuggling ring. Long as he says, thoroughly bite the poisonous snake from head to tail. No one runs afoul of the law that escapes this wolf's fangs. I'll get you all yet. Ah, youth. When did I become so old, I wonder? I've begun noticing the gray hairs that my beard bore. I'm thinking of retiring my mirror. Maybe when you're a little less paranoid, you should quit the mirror then. Can we just skip her real quick? How's the Big Princess and the Pink Badger all the span of 2 days? What, busy? Well, that's alright, because I got a letter from my beloved Itchy-Poo. Please take care of your hip, and when you wish to speak, first take off your headpiece. What does it mean by that last statement? It's not like I enjoy making on a headpiece every time I have to see him. It's like an alien that a creepy, fuzzy, pink animal. The Pink Princess, a pink hero justice. The young man is just putting this silly hand and the costume in terror, just terrifying lady. Please never bring her back again. That'd be great. Whew! Feels so much better now the trial's over. As always, legal prowess is top-notch, sir. Yeah, nothing beats the look of Mr. Abba's face who really revealed the ring's secrets. I was amazed. Felt like a totally different person when you step in the courtroom. Edgeworth is always 10 times fiercer in court. Based on the information Mr. Abba offered up, they've begun large-scale operations to clean up the rest of the ring, which I'm happy to leave to Francisca and Agent Lang. So what are your plans now, okay? Huh? Oh, you taking care of the creep who killed my father, so I'm not sure. Hey, I know! Maybe I'll just keep on being Mr. Edgeworth's assistant. You still trying to steal my job, pal? Just kidding, just kidding. Can't steal something so important, you get me? Oh, what a relief. Okay. Yeah? Even after all that happened, are you still planning to become a great thief? Of course! But I don't want to tarnish the legend of the noble Yatagarasu. So I'm gonna hold off anymore until I make a tight 3-party team of my own. 3-person team? A 3-person team of young beauties the same age as me, if possible. With those criteria, I highly doubt you'll find the 2 other people you need. My father chose to fight for the truth. I think that's what's so noble about him. So if you need you see, Mr. Edgeworth, the only thing I'll ever steal are the truths that have been hidden away. I'm gonna work extra hard and make a world where the Yatagarasu isn't needed. Huh. Let's both strive for such a future. Well, I guess it's time for me to get going. I see. Okay, keep your chin up and stay strong, okay? Don't be a stranger. Don't worry, I'll be back. Be sure to break a lock and I'll be sure to break the lock on the window and sneak in. If you could, I'd appreciate if you came in through the building's front door. It's okay, Mr. Edgeworth. Lock my windows at home have been broken for forever. Oh, one last thing before I go. Say a group picture, just the 3 of us. Yeah, commemorative photo. Every big case has to end with one. No. Hey, why not? Don't tell me you're camera shy, Mr. Edgeworth. Of course not, detective. Come on, Mr. Edgeworth, take the picture now. Come back here. Mr. Edgeworth, you can't run away from this, sir. Hey, Detective Gumshoe! Stop that! I can't be seen doing that. Totally taking it now. Say cheese. And thus, the long tale of the KG8 incident came to a close. It saw the demise of the smuggling ring and the birth of a little great thief. But there is little time to rest and relax, for I am eager to tackle the investigation into a new case. The reason for my eagerness is my want to pursue the truth, and my want to believe in the strength of those who use the power of the law for good. As someone who has chosen to live my life as a prosecutor, that is my new creed. Bunch of goofs. That's it. That's Ace Attorney Investigations, Miles Edgeworth. That's it. Oh, it's been real fun for me. I hope y'all enjoyed watching. I sure hope so, because I have fun doing this. See you next Let's Play. This is Luigi Master 4D, signing out.